this week I was reviewing lessons on campus, lessons that you guys get depending on what level you're at. And because those lessons are about to get a major overhaul. So I'm looking at them all, and I'm looking at what I'm going to keep, what I'm going to toss, what I'm going to change. And I'm just going to say new stuff is coming, folks. In reviewing the lessons, as I was reviewing the lessons, I dug deep into a Lifestyle 365 lesson on important is not most important. And I read through everything that I used to create that audio lesson. On campus right now, it's an audio-only lesson. And I'll just say that it's rare for me to think, wow, to myself when I see my own work, but I did. And I don't know if I need, maybe I need both hands, to say, wow, that was really good, David. And this is one of those that I thought, man, this was really good. It's really important. And that level of depth that I covered it back several years ago when I first created that lesson, I thought it's time to bring it to 2023 and make sure that I share it with all of you, because I think it's that important and I think it's that valuable. And hopefully you agree. So in any event, here goes. Important is not most important. That's the lesson. The law of forced efficiency says there is never enough time to do everything, but there is always enough time to do the most important thing. There are two kinds of things that have to be done in a day: writing the book and doing the dishes, as in paying bills, running errands, recurring things, stuff, important stuff. You're the author of your life story, and every day you're out there writing a story. You're choosing the characters, the location, the activities. When we're 100 years old and it's time to check out of this world, we're going to be there with a big, thick book we've written, the story of our life. Some people are writing comedies, some people are writing tragedies, and some people are writing books filled with love, achievement, and success. That's the kind of book I want to write. To do so, we have to understand important is not most important, or important versus most important. Now, I'm not trying to be morbid here. Stay with me a minute. Imagine, if you will, you're going to die tomorrow. See what I mean? I'm not trying to be morbid. Stay with me. The going and doing, the hustle and bustle, it's done. You will die tomorrow. Although it's truly the end of your life, you can think, and you can feel, and your memory is sharp as a tack. When you consider all the pressing urgencies you feel right now, of all the things you're stressing over right now, of all the things you have stressed over throughout the years, how many of them will you care about or even remember when you're 100? And tomorrow, you die. Today is your last day. Tomorrow, you die. How many of them will you remember? How many of them will you care about? This lesson, as I said, is called Important is Not Most Important. This is a concept that is vital to understand if you really want to get more out of the short life that we live here on earth. And as we all know, we are not promised tomorrow. So we want to make the most of whatever time it is that we have here. There are many important things that need done. Something most people never consider is that most things we consider important are really just pressing urgencies. Give me one moment. I don't want that there. I'm going to go back to it. I got out of order somehow. Stay with me. Stay with me. It's worth it. Something most people never consider is that most things we consider important are really just pressing urgencies. Many of them don't even meet a level we could call important, let alone most important. Even so, even though most of the things on the to-do list in our life could barely reach a level we might call important, it doesn't stop most of us from feeling incredible pressure, anxiety, and a sense of overwhelming urgency when these menial tasks mount and don't get done. Once you understand this concept, I think you'll see that most people usually operate in exactly the opposite way or mode they should. They doodle and dawdle their way through menial, least important tasks and things. They procrastinate the important things, and they take for granted, completely ignore, or haven't a clue about the most important things each day. To see things differently, I think it's very important to understand the difference between important and most important. Imagine this. You and 10 of your closest family and friends were on the Titanic. The ship is going down. You made it into a lifeboat. There are no more lifeboats. None. There are no opportunities for anyone to get off the ship other than 4 additional seats in your boat. No other solutions. No games here. There are no other solutions. It is what it is. There were 11 of you all in, but 6 of your closest family and friends are going to die, drowning in the icy waters. You can only take 4 people with you. Who will you bring? Who will you bring with you? You've got no other options, so don't try and think of one. You have one option. Choose 4 people. Everyone else dies. That's the difference between important and most important. Everyone on that boat was important to you. The most important people you picked got in the lifeboat with you. Almost everything on a standard to-do list will feel, in some way, important. I'm not trying to negate this. It's true, daily living creates many things we need to do. But most of these things happen to be more of a pressing urgency rather than a most important priority. Most people take for granted the most important things in their lives. You see, the most important things in our lives aren't things at all. They are health, their relationships with ourselves and others, and all manner of things that can't be bought. While ignoring and taking for granted the most important things, people keep anxiously busy with tasks, urgencies, and, well, important stuff. It's my opinion that this is what each list primarily will consist of. The important things like work, errands, home chores, event planning, meetings, stuff. All the stuff in a day. Most important list, I'm going to put at the top health, physical and mental. I could say physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. I'm going to say physical and mental to kind of keep it simple, but health at the top. And I had to make these small. I apologize because it's a list. Honoring yourself. Talk more about that in a moment. Honoring your soulmate. I'll talk more about that. Nurturing relationships. Leading by example, especially children. Strengthening personal growth. Being grateful and saying thank you often. Forgiving. Take responsibility. Giving hope. Pursue a worthy endeavor. Persist without exception. That has a lot to do with purpose and achievement and accomplishment and feeling all of those benefits. So how do we manage these lists, and how do we not forget that we probably aren't going to die tomorrow? We aren't promised it, but, probably not. So we need to get stuff done on a regular basis or we lose our jobs. The house is a mess, the dog has no food, there's no money in the bank. Another question is, how do we honor more so the most important things in our lives so we have a truer sense of what really matters and what to focus on each day? Another question is, how do we perform each day so as to live in this moment fully and not have any regrets on our deathbed? First and foremost, we need to do what we can to take care of our health in every way. Good physical and mental health is the foundation of a happy life. It allows us to enjoy our experiences and pursue your goals. Now I got to go back. Watch this. And I got to play this young woman. Let's give this young woman a listen. Here we go.
Everything is super important until you are sick. Then you realize there was only ever one thing that was important: your health.
I'm going to play it again just in case you missed it.
Everything is super important until you are sick. Then you realize there was only ever one thing that was important: your health.
That young woman, went in for a routine checkup and they found a lump. Breast cancer it was. It's a stark reminder that while our daily tasks and priorities may seem crucial, the most important thing of all is our health. We should never lose sight of that. After health, I'm going to say, do something each day that furthers our personal growth, honors ourselves. Let me go back here now. Let's go back to this list. Okay. So, after health, honor yourself. A little further down, I've got personal growth, self-improvement. And what do I mean by honor yourself? Well, obviously it has to do with, as we all are aware of, as I've talked about endlessly, and that is putting your own mask on first a little bit more often. You know, on the airplane, you know, put your own mask on before trying to help others. Put your own mask on before trying to help anyone else. Why? Because if you're dead, because you didn't put your mask on, if you didn't take care of yourself in that way, you can't help anyone else. Out here, outside of a plane, in the free living society, it's extremely similar. Have to take care of ourselves. Have to honor ourselves so that we can best take care of others, so that we can best honor all of the things that are important and most important, so that we can function at our best and live our best life. So as a part of it, in honoring ourselves, we want to work on personal growth. And rejuvenation or planned time for relaxation, even 10 to 20 minutes, that can count as a part of this. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. It's a James Clear quote. And when we take these actions, we are voting, in a sense, for that future self and setting ourselves up for that person that we are going to continue evolving into and or that we want to become. So it's important that we are always putting some energy into honoring ourselves, putting our own mask on first. I'm going to talk a bit in a moment. Practicing healthy selfishness and taking those actions that will help us to continue to evolve into an even better person than we are today. It is important to work on these aspects. They are all part of emotional fitness, which is absolutely necessary. It's one of the 6 pillars of transformation success. If we don't take care of ourselves a little bit more, we're going to be out of energy, out of drive, out of bandwidth. No bandwidth, right? That's a phrase that I like. We don't have any bandwidth for it. We'll be out of energy, out of drive, out of bandwidth, and we'll retain this pressing feeling. If we don't take care of ourselves, there's a piece of us that knows we're not taking care of ourselves. And there's a piece of us that knows that's not right. That's not okay. And if we only take care of others, if we don't take care of ourselves, we are going to be out of energy, out of drive, out of bandwidth, and we will retain this pressing feeling that we aren't getting what we really deserve. Because we aren't. And that pressing chronic hole within us manifests into behaviors that don't actually serve our best selves, and definitely not our highest value goals. So I mentioned a minute ago about healthy selfishness. Healthy selfishness isn't optional if we want to thrive and accomplish our goals. Just so I'm clear, healthy selfishness should not be confused with narcissism. It's not being narcissistic at all. It's not just me. It's also me. No one can put themselves first all the time. Absolutely true. No one can put themselves first all the time. But far too many people are so busy doing the important stuff, they forget that they themselves are a most important. Honor yourself. Putting yourself on your to-do list, that's a part of honoring yourself. Putting yourself on your to-do list is a must to feel fulfilled, to achieve high-level goals, and yes, to be able to best serve those who rely on you, from your employer to your family to your kids, everyone. Most people I've been doing this for 30 years. I've been working with people for 30 years. I first started, I haven't said this before, I'm going to tell a story, but I just thought of it. I first started coaching people when I was 17. That's 41 years ago. I worked at a little personal training area, and I was taking people through strength training programs when I was 17 years old. I've been doing this a long time. I've worked with a lot of people over 30 years, really in transformation. And I can tell you this, most people don't practice enough healthy selfishness. They just don't. Giving themselves a little bit more me time, a little bit more time for growth and planned relaxation, personal growth, honoring themselves. Not surprisingly, most people are incredibly stressed, anxiety riddled, and feeling deprived in a variety of ways. And everyone is under-recognized and underappreciated. A part of that recognition and appreciation needs to be with ourselves as best we can. It's tough to do. I'm right there with you in a lot of ways. I do put energy into it because I teach it, I reinforce it, I try to do it for myself more, but I am far from perfect. So some of the feeling deprived and lack of growth is made up for, like when we feel deprived and we aren't putting energy into honoring ourselves and personal growth and development, we'll make up for it. Rejuvenation and relaxation, by the way, is all a part of like honoring yourself. We'll make up for those lacks by exerting foolish freedom through laziness, lounging, overeating, whatever. Just foolish freedom where it's like, I'm going to get mine one way or another. And I always say, make time for honoring yourself, make time for personal growth, make time for relaxation and rejuvenation, or you will take it when it's maladaptive. You will take it when it's inopportune. You will take it in a way that doesn't serve your future self. So if you put some conscious energy into healthy selfishness, honoring yourself, personal growth, very high on the list, just under health, you're going to feel less of that pressure, less of that subconscious pressure to one way or another, I've got to get what I deserve. And that's where that I deserve, the beast comes in and says, you deserve to get the da-da-da. You deserve to have the whatever. You deserve to lay around all day. You don't deserve that, but you do deserve most often better than you're giving yourself. So, go back here. The two primary things that are going to determine who we're going to be in 5 years. The books we read, people we meet. And by books, this includes all forms of continued education, personal growth, enlightenment, personal, digital, audio, video. It doesn't matter. Okay, books isn't books. It's everything. It's any way that you are growing personally, honoring yourself in that way. When you honor yourself with personal growth, taking care of your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health at a frequency of almost daily, you'll feed your mind, body, and soul, and there's going to be more of you available to others. That's something I can't stress enough. Yeah, but everybody else is counting on me. Yeah, but I got to give all my energy and time to so-and-so. Yeah, but the kids. Yeah, but my frail mother. Yeah, but my whoever. Fill in the blank. My employees, just right on down the line. Everybody needs you. Everybody's counting on you. You do so much for so many people, and that's so important. But if you take a little bit better care of yourself, if you honor yourself in that most important category a little bit more, you're going to be able to give more to everyone else. So at least one thing at the top of your priorities list, very near the top, should be related to honoring yourself and personal growth. If you honor yourself with exercise, does that count? Yeah, it does. If you view it like that. If you view it as just this, drudgery, then it probably doesn't count for you in that way. It will physically. It's still going to benefit you physically, but mentally, maybe not so much. But if someone cherishes their workouts, that's amazing honor yourself time. If you're a spiritual person, can you honor yourself with time spent growing your spirituality? Absolutely. It's going to be different for everyone. What matters is that you do something on most or all days that honors you and helps you grow as an individual. Maybe it's 20 minutes of reading. Maybe it's a yoga class. Maybe it's a walk. Maybe it's a hot bath. It doesn't always have to be about growth, but growth should be up there on many of the days. We've got to rejuvenate to some degree, and rejuvenation can also duplicate for growth many times. I said the thing that'll have the greatest impact on who we are 5 years from now are the books we read and the people we meet, or hang out with. This won't apply to everyone, but on the list of most important, right after kind of honoring yourself, is honoring your soulmate. Whoever this person is, he or she comes next. I'm spending a bit of time here, just a few minutes on this, because I want to specifically address it. Few people do. Honor your soulmate. Whoever this person is, he or she comes next. Even if you and your soulmate have kids. If you have a soulmate, there's no greater gift you can give your kids than a strong, healthy, loving relationship with your soulmate. So each day you should honor your soulmate. Put them on a pedestal almost, with an actionable something. They forget every day that you cherish them. We're all more wired because of negativity bias to have good things and positive comments slide off us like Teflon, and to have bad things or negative encounters stick to us like Velcro. The good slips right off and is forgotten. The negative sticks to us like Velcro, or most people. As I've taught people this concept of important and most important, a common initial reaction is a feeling of disappointment in themselves over what they haven't done or what they haven't been doing for their soulmate. And then there is an overwhelming sense of pressure for all the extra time. Time is so limited anyway. And now, oh my gosh, I've got to do more for my spouse, my soulmate, whatever it is. All this pressure and all this time it's going to take to satisfy the needs so I can make sure that the most important person, the soulmate in my life, is taken care of. Well, the really cool thing about taking care of the most important things is they don't really take a lot of your time. Let's say you do have a soulmate. If you follow my premise, your soulmate is next, right behind you, for honor yourself. Because again, put your own mask on first. You're no good to anyone if you are just a pile, right? Because you have just not taken care of yourself. So there's no energy, no bandwidth, nothing left for anyone else. There's so little, everybody's getting scraps, right? So put your own mask on first, honor yourself, and honor your soulmate. So they're right behind you. And a lot of times they're going to be in front of you. It isn't like they're always right behind you. I always take care of myself first, and I always put, that isn't how it works. It's just, I put it up there because it's like, put yourself first just a little bit more, or at all. So I've got it high on the list so that you're better able to take care. You taking care of yourself makes it better so that you can take care of everyone else better. But, so you're going to take care of your soulmate more. Instead of feeling bad about it, please don't. Let it go. We're all human. Hey, we're here. We're learning and growing. This is a part of a most important personal growth, honoring yourself. So does it mean you got to give your soulmate 4 to 5 hours a day of your time? Does total time even equate to most important? No, it does not. What's amazing about this concept, in my view, is the most important things in our lives don't necessarily need a great deal of our time each day. They just need a steady supply without being taken for granted so much, which just kind of aligns with gratitude. Whatever we're proactively grateful for grows and strengthens. And whatever we aren't grateful for or take for granted shrinks or dies. So we just want to take them less for granted, be more proactively grateful, express that more often, because remember, Velcro, Teflon, anything good slides off quick. Hey, but I just told you 10 minutes ago that you're da-da-da-da-da, and it was a great compliment. I know. And I told you 3 days ago that I didn't like that I know, but that's stuck. That's how we're wired. It is what it is. Get over it, because we need to, in a best case scenario, we need to frequently put out the good, the thanks, the gratitude, the positive, and remember that we all have this negativity bias, and the negative or the negative encounters stick much longer. Anyway, soulmate. They just need to be on your list more often and higher on the list when they do make the most important list. Most days for most people, the most important things aren't prioritized. A lot of times they're not even on a list. They're just not hardly given any consideration at all, because it's all this stuff on the important side: work, errands, chores, events, meetings, tasks, to do. That's what gets all the attention. So we don't need to give our soulmate 4 to 5 hours. Just need something from us on most or all days that lets them know they're the one, they're special above all people. It's common for women or men to speak more kindly to and give more warm attention to their favorite pet on a routine basis than their soulmate. How long does it take to hug your soulmate and say, I love you? Maybe you buy him or her a card. I'm just thinking about proactive gratitude. Anything you can do proactively. Let your imagination run wild. It doesn't have to be expensive at all. Most times that's not the coolest, best stuff anyway. It doesn't have to be time consuming. It just needs to be done frequently. As though they were really top on your priority list and not below laundry, time at the office, garbage, house cleaning, bill paying, pet care, on and on and on. Checking email, scrolling social, whatever those things are. Which is where we look at it. This is where most people spend a great deal of their day on important and then really not even important things, time-wasting things. All right. There's always enough money, energy, affection, and time for the most important things in our lives. There is never enough money, energy, affection, and time for everything. What you have to do will never be done. You will never be caught up. Never. Stop trying to get caught up. It's not going to happen. Ever. All we can do each day is know where our priorities are, treat the people most important in our lives like they really are the most important, and then focus intently on those things each day that truly must be done while procrastinating. We want to procrastinate the things that really don't have to be done or should have never been said yes to at all. Creative procrastination is necessary here. We need to put off those things that really don't matter much. We've got to say no to some things so we can say yes to our most important things more often. You can't have it both ways. Every time you say yes to something, you've got to say no to something else. What are you saying yes to? Is saying yes to whatever that is? Or continuing to invest precious time into a past yes? Is it worth saying no to a most important priority? So I think I stumbled a bit, as I was trying to think about what I was wanting to say there. But when you say yes to something, because you had to say no to something else, you want to make sure that what you're saying yes to didn't force you to say no to a most important. And only by considering this exercise can we have the money, energy, affection, and time for the most important things. So what happens when you put these most important things on your priority list and honestly do not get to check them off because you didn't do them? It's easy. You just carry them forward to the next day. Do your best the next day. The issue isn't so much about whether you really do it every single day of your life, all of them, every single day. Whether you really honor yourself, whether you 100% go all in on your health, physical and mental, all in, 100%, every single day. It's number one for a reason. As the young woman said, I don't think anyone would disagree. There's no amount of money I can give you where you would trade your health for a truly devastating illness. Health is number one. Without health, if it's truly devastating, or our life is going to be short-lived, nothing else is going to matter. But it doesn't mean you have to work on that stuff every single day. I took a little tangent there, but I'm coming back. It's about carrying it forward, just doing your best, looking at these things and go, okay, all right, how can I do a little better on this? How can I keep these things on a most important list? It's about the fact that for most people, the only thing that goes on their priorities list are the pressing urgencies, the to-dos, and not truly the most important priorities, which again, aren't things at all. By knowing what really matters, by applying the deathbed, regret, and Titanic test to your thinking about what really matters, it'll be easier to do what's right for yourself and those in your life more often. Not necessarily daily or perfectly. Let's face it. If you really honor yourself with various aspects, you really honor yourself by prioritizing your health, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, If you honor yourself, you honor your soulmate, you honor yourself in these varied ways. If you're doing the things that I showed on the most important list, if you're doing those things not at all in a month, and you begin doing some of those things, especially the high level things, right? But all of them, you start doing some of those things 5 or 10 times a month. You start doing it 5 or 10 times a month. That's a huge improvement if you weren't doing it at all. And it'll have a significant impact on your life. If you're taking your soulmate for granted, treating work, pets, and inanimate objects like houseplants with more thought, affection, and care than your soulmate currently, and you begin to treat your soulmate as the number 2 most important thing in your life 5 to 10 times a month, the changes for the better will be enormous. And regardless of what changes you perceive, one thing is certain: it'll be a better life, a more fulfilling life, and without regret anytime later in your life. What if you're single? If you're single, there's still people in your life who can be put right under you in honoring yourself as most important. Maybe it's a close friend, maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a sibling, a grandparent. In any case, one thing is certain: if you are single, you've got more ability to put yourself first more often. Good. This means, generally speaking, I'm generalizing here. It doesn't mean every single person has that. Generalizing. This means you can honor yourself more, grow more, rejuvenate more. Put your health, first more often. No matter what, soulmate or not, kids or not, busy or not. That health, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, it needs to be up there, because again, with that, all things are possible. Without it, nothing is possible. So, honor yourself more, grow more, rejuvenate more. If you spend your day running errands and doodling with pressing urgencies, you're missing out and focusing on things that matter little in the grand scheme of things. As you consider all your important and most important priorities, I want to make something clear. You don't get to forget the pressing urgencies. You don't get to stop doing laundry, taking out the garbage, going to work, getting groceries, just because you now have this newfound awareness of the difference between important and most important. You've got to include all the priorities, all the important or even not important, but definitely the important stuff. You got to include all that stuff on the things that you have to do, or it's not a valid list. It's not valid to just say, well, just focus on the most important stuff and the other stuff will take care of itself. No, they won't. You've still got to do it. However, what you say yes to, a lot of times you can have a choice over that. You can say yes to fewer things so that you can have more bandwidth, space, time, energy, money, energy, affection, time for most important things. And even though we're not going to be perfect on that most important list, having an awareness of it, putting a little bit more focus on it. Again, we don't need to put 4 to 5 hours into our soulmate, or 4 to 5 hours into pursuing the worthy endeavor, or whatever it is, forgiving, taking responsibility, nurturing the relationships, 4 to 5 hours a day. It doesn't have to be like that, but they do need a steady supply. They need to be kept on the radar. They need to be given a little bit more attention. And I want to say this too. Another tip I want to give you is, as you're kind of thinking about priorities, I kind of think of it like outcome goals, performance goals, like what can I do? What can I actually do? And the things we can actually do I refer to as performance goals, and the things that result from those performance goals or actions are outcome goals. And so focus more on performance-based tasks. No matter what your lists are, important, most important, try to look at what things that you can do, things that are actionable within your control. Get 30 minutes of exercise in. Got it. That's within your direct control. You have direct control over it. Don't list a priority that has, a massive sum of dozens of hundreds of actionable steps. Okay? I'll leave that alone. That's a kind of a different topic, but it's just something as I'm looking at these lists and I'm thinking about, doing the things on the list, we want to focus more so on performance actions, performance goals, actionable items directly within your control, rather than outcome goal. So we've got to have an outcome goal. If you want to lose 30 pounds, you need to set that out there. Hey, I want to lose 30 pounds. That's out there. It's a vision. It becomes a part of your why. You can start to envision, what will that be like when I'm there? What will I get to do? What will I get to have? What will my experience be like? You want to paint that picture in full, living color. But then we want to take almost all our attention and bring it back to performance goals. Back to important, most important. That little tangent was more about what can you focus on, and I want you to focus on performance objectives rather than so much outcome objectives. Let me sum this thing up before I go down another tangent. In summary, there's never enough time to do everything, but there's always enough time to do the most important thing. You are the author of your life, and every day you're writing your story. What kind of story do you want to tell when you're 100 years old? Important is not most important. The most important things in our lives aren't things at all. They are health, the relationship with ourselves and others, and all manner of things that can't be bought. And they are not tasks, and they are not to-do list items. Honoring yourself in areas of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual is essential for becoming a better, stronger person who can give more to others. Healthy selfishness. Pressing urgencies and to-do tasks are what predominate most people's lives. You have to practice creative procrastination. Put off things that matter less to have money, energy, affection, and time meet for the most important. Focus more on performance-based, actionable steps rather than outcome-based goals. We need both, but we need more focus on performance-based. Remember too, anything worth doing is worth doing poorly for a while. When we first learned to walk, we sucked at it. But it was worth learning, and we kept going, and now we can usually walk and chew gum. But putting yourself on your to-do list, honoring yourself, focusing a bit more on your soulmate, relationships, loved ones, prioritizing with personal growth, your mind, body, emotional fitness, health, and soul over the less important, prioritizing those things, leading by example for children. These are all the adult versions of learning to walk, and they're all worthy endeavors. In my opinion, they're most important. And it's okay as you're maybe putting a little bit more attention into these things without, again, beating yourself up for not doing it for the past however much time. Let that go. Forgive yourself. Truly, be self-compassionate. Treat yourself like someone you're responsible for helping. I love that phrase. Treat yourself like someone you're responsible for helping. With all that said, it's okay if it's awkward or hard right now and for a while. Pursue the worthy endeavor. It's a worthy endeavor. Pursue the worthy endeavor. Persist without exception. You're going to get better, and it's going to get easier. I really believe this lesson of important is not most important is a huge one worth learning. Each day, as the author of your life, as you continue to write new chapters of your book, each day, remember your most importance. Remember what really matters, what is really going to matter when you're 100 and you've got your big book and you're looking back on your life. What are you going to remember? What are you going to regret? Probably not going to be the thing you're worrying about today. Probably not going to be the pressing urgencies. Each day, decide who you're taking into the lifeboat with you and what you have to leave behind. That's it for this week's State of the Class. Hope you enjoyed. Important is not most important. It's a big lesson. It's a cool one. It's really, really, I think, critical for getting our mind in the right place, not only for transformation, but just for living our best lives. As always, find me if you need help. If you're a member, hit me up on campus, send me a private message, DM me, hit me a text, whatever, you know how to find me. Engage support. Pillar 6, engage support. Until next time, let's focus on what we want. Let's be grateful for what we already have. And remember, it's all happening perfectly. Good night. I hope you have a great week. See you on campus. Bye-bye.